what is going on? Today we're working on the chickens. We're gonna actually move the chickens into the woods with the goats. And speaking of the goats, I don't know what is going on, but they are awfully quiet. Normally when I come out here, oh, there's one making some noise, but usually they're just all screaming. Check on them, make sure everything's looking good. But yeah, we're going to move the chickens out into the woods. There's goat chicken. Hey, goat. But yeah, we're gonna move the chickens into the previous goat spot. We're gonna turn that tore up, ate down, old wooded pasture from the goats, and we're gonna turn that into the new little chicken run. They're gonna be able to scratch around, eat up that dry poop. It's been about 2 weeks since we moved them, so everything should be kind of dried up, ready to go. There's a little bit of growth that's came back already, so they'll have lots of little things and grasses to kind of chew and munch on, and the bugs. And then they can scratch, they can poop, and really work up that pasture. And then the plan is basically, once I move the goats to the next one, about a week or two later, we'll move the chickens down again, and we'll just kind of keep that process going. You guys want out? Come here, big guys. Big AJ. And I have a rough idea of where I'm going to kind of lay the fence out at. So the goats have 2 full runs of fence. We've talked about that before. So it's a very large area, but the chickens only have 1 run. But I'm thinking about utilizing one of the existing sides of the goat run. So if I can just tap into that corner and run the fence down that way, and then maybe down that way, and then tie back in over there, I'm gonna gain all that fence space basically. So instead of utilizing the current chicken fence to enclose it, we're gonna gain a whole side. So we're gonna add quite a bit of footage. Oh my gosh, I just found the honey hole. That is where goat chicken's been laying her eggs, stashing them. I was kind of wondering where they've been going ever since we moved into the next wooded pasture. What's up, goat? The goat's checking out the fresh chicken run here, yes, but I mean, this whole run should be fairly easy to move. I got everything I need right here already. I'm basically just gonna be picking up the fence, dragging it to its new location, wheel over their little coop, and that's pretty much it for the most part. I think the hardest part's going to be figuring out where I'm actually gonna place this fence at, only because it's very thick. There's a lot of big trees and brush that I was able to go around with the goat fence, and I don't have a good spot where I can cut through the middle if I don't have enough of this run. So I don't know, we're gonna have to play around with that a little bit, see what's gonna be the best and the easiest to work with. I don't want to have to get the tractor out. I don't want to have to get any kind of like mower out or anything. I just want to just stick this in and go with it. I just don't think my plan's going to work. This fallen tree, the root ball is exposed on that end, and it's tucked up very tight to the goat fence right now. So I don't have really access over there to put a gate and to tie in all that. So what I think I'm going to do, but there is enough room for me to still run a fence around. So I think we're gonna end up actually not utilizing the goat fence as part of the run. And I'm gonna put my gate here, and we're gonna run the fence down and kind of hug the current goat fence, and then probably come back and see if we can tie this whole area into one here. And then maybe eventually I can work that way and then that way. Or if I ever get a second set of fence, I can actually do the whole loop. But yeah, I think right now we're gonna end up just putting our gate and everything, I think right about here. I'm gonna go ahead and start dropping a little bit of this fence. And what I'm gonna do though is stop once I open this up. And I'm gonna go ahead and wheel their coop up and out of here, because I seem to always forget to get the coop and place it in the next area before I have all the fence up and tight already. So we're gonna go ahead and take care of that. Wow, it's been yeah. They've been here for far too long. The grass is growing up and into the fence itself. winding itself in there. Look out, goats. The goats are very interested in what I am doing over here. That's for sure. But yeah, I'm just gonna place this somewhere back here for now. Now I can get the rest of this fence taken down, ripped out of this tall grass. All right, just like that, we are done. The only downside I've found of these like corner rods that I use is when I'm using them for quite a while, you can probably see that, they kind of like take shape and they start to bend a lot. I tried to reverse them so they pull the opposite direction, but this little like foot step kind of helps keep it from tipping too far or bending over too far. And so when I turn it, it's on the opposite side. So when I pull, there's nothing pushing into the ground, if that makes sense. So this is just lifting up and out. But other than that, I do love these things. They seem to hold up the corners of the fences very nicely. Look at our goats. I can only pull so much of the fence straight before I just have to start folding and picking up. I wish I could avoid this more, but it is what it is. And the more and more I pull this fence and have to move it, the more I realize just folding it and picking it up, as much as it kind of sucks and gets heavy, gets awkward, is actually a lot easier in the long run when I try to pull it too far and then everything gets caught up and tangled, or it gets caught on like little branches and stuff, and honestly just turns into a bigger headache. But I have two more panels to go and my hands are full. So those last two just barely hang on to the edge of my fingertips. But it sure feels good when I get to the end. And once I got it, it's pretty easy to handle, especially knowing that here in a second I'm gonna start dumping this out, laying it along the ground. And I think I'm gonna start on this side and work my way towards the goat fence. It's gonna get a little tight once I get to this other end where that root ball is at, but we'll see if we can make it work. Okay, this is where I was kind of, now it's gonna get a little tight through here as I lay this down. And I'm a little worried that I'm not gonna have enough fence. To get back to my starting point. I know it's gonna be darn close. Oh, we are so close. I think we can make that work though. I think if I start on that end, sticking it up, I think I can hug it in a little bit tighter and circle around. I probably should have just said screw this little chunk where the tree is at and started my fence along this side, and they could have had more of this. But I already got it laid out, and I think I can make that work. I do believe I can cut it in just a little bit tighter, and then the chickens can have this entire chunk here. They might play in the trees, they might try to fly out, I'm not sure yet. Looks like all my spikes are on the outside this time around, so we're going to go ahead. Wow, this thing is really twisted up. I mean, right there with that single pole, I just gained like a foot to a foot and a half of fence just right there. So by the time we pull all the way around, I'm sure we'll have enough to finish that off. So what I got going on here now is I got this root ball that's up, and to avoid it, I need to come clear out here, but it kind of cuts into my trail. So what I think I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna put a post. I'm gonna make my own post with this to get to the edge of the root ball, but just far enough out into the trail where it's not gonna affect much. And this will be kind of like it's not really a corner post, but it's gonna be the point where the fence kind of comes and comes around and then heads back towards the other corner of the goat fence, and won't stick too far out into my trail. So I think we're gonna go with that, I think right here. And then we can kind of wrap around. Yeah, that's gonna work pretty good. Then now when I pull this tight, yep. There we go. So you can kind of see, so there's the root ball, there's that corner post. I'm kind of going around the root ball and then back. Now this would have been the prime spot for a gate because it would have been right here with the gate, but it's pretty narrow opening right there, and just trying to think of like the kids going in and out of there. I mean, until I get that cleaned out and that root ball pushed back in, I think we're kind of limited. We're gonna keep that gate over there, but now I'm gonna run this fence, put another corner post in here, and run it out that way, and then back around. And we'll be just about back at the gate. This is kind of like a temporary weird setup, but so here's the extra corner post. There's my corner-ish post, ran around the root ball, another post just to create the actual corner, and then run down that way. Like I said, I'm not gonna be able to utilize this goat fence, and then from there we're gonna run. But you can see the amount of fence from me just pulling it tight. I have like 4 or 5 feet piled up there. So we're gonna easily be able to close the gap between the end of the fence run and the gate. So what I think I need to do is, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this, if I can, this way. I'm gonna go ahead and start from the gate and then work my way back around. Then I can maximize my space here. Okay, fence up all the way around, looking pretty good. Looking a little saggy here, but we're gonna put a corner post there to pull that tight. And then down here, got all our sag stoppers back in. So this is nice and tight, looking really good. But there's a spot down here I want to take a peek at quick. This right here. So when I have a dip in the dirt, this is right where the root ball is at. It kind of dips down right there, and the fence is a good 2 to 3 inches off of the ground, which the bottom string or the bottom run of these fences don't have power to them. So if something wanted to like slide underneath there, it could without potentially getting shocked. But what I have found works pretty good is when I take one of these sag stoppers, or sometimes 2, I place one right here in the location of that dip. And once I attach the bottom to the fence and then the top, the extra weight of the sag stopper just about brings it down to the ground. Now we're probably about 1 inch from the ground, if not 2. Now if I add a second one in there, it'll add a little bit more weight and pull it down. Now, if I really wanted to go extreme, I could grab one of these black corner rods, place one there, pull the whole thing tight. But I think this is gonna work pretty good. It's a short span because I had to shrink this run. This is the end post of the run, and we're like basically in the middle of it with this black one. So it's very tight, very secure. I don't think anything's gonna go through there. I think we're gonna be pretty good. What I'm really hoping for here too is utilizing the old goat area, the poop, the leftover scrap, this just bugs, the extra everything. The chickens will thrive out here and eat less of my food here. And we'll see if we can get our feed bill down just a little bit by utilizing this setup here. I'm definitely glad I switched from the full 55-gallon drum down to this. I think it's like, what did I say it was, 15, maybe 20-gallon. It's way easier to move around. And I'm gonna have to be less picky out here now, worrying about dead spots and stuff, because it's just gonna be in the woods. I can let these things sit for a little bit longer, not worry about killing the grass underneath it and making the lawn look cruddy. And really the final step now is I kind of like to always just put this in the far back corner, hey goats, of their little runs. And then as I move it forward towards the gate, then I can move it over a little bit, work my way back and forth, back and forth. So we're gonna pull this down here, give it a little do-si-do. It's a little tighter than normal. Let's see if I can get this turned around without getting caught on a tree or the fence. There we go. I think that's gonna work. Get the goats some grub. Oh, jeez. I do believe we are now done moving our chickens into the woods, utilizing our old goat pasture. They're now going to be able to eat, scratch, turn up the soil, and work this land and dirt into something better than what it currently is. By next summer, hopefully we'll have a nice, cleaner, greener pasture. But we're gonna call today's video good. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you all next time. Later.